Jam with Sam. Jam with Sam.
Hi Satish,
Hi.
welcome to the 30th event of Train and Jam with Sam. Thank you for so much for being agreeing on a short notice
Thank you.
for that. So long journey you had, Satish. Still more to come?
Yes.
Okay. So let's start with a brief journey. Your school, when did you start, your
Sure.
college?
So originally, I'm from Delhi, and my father. So I'm the only child of my parents. My father used to work with RBI, and I did my schooling from DPS. Did my graduation in Bachelor of Business Studies. Went to do my PGDM from Symbiosis, Pune. Then I started my career into PR and brand management. So did work with few PR agencies, was also handling the brand management with Apollo Tiles. So did that for about 7 years in Delhi itself. Then I think I got bored of marketing, so wanted to move off, wanted to explore new areas. So from marketing, jumped to the other side of the table, moved on to funding side of it. Came to Bombay and joined India REIT Real Estate Fund, which is by Piramal's, Ajay Piramal's. And joined them as head of investor relations, right? And I think that is where my whole context changed. I really started to learn about how a venture capital fund operates. I also got involved very deeply into fundraising. So we raised about 700 crores worth of domestic fund, and we also were in the process of raising $1 billion of offshore real estate fund. So basically learned the whole ropes of how a venture capital fund works out there. Then after about 2 years, joined Religare Venture Capital, and again it was an interesting assignment because they had launched India's first ever film fund, a venture capital fund which would be investing into movies.
Okay.
So I thought that would be an interesting area to get into. So went there, worked for about 1.5 years, was the operational fund manager for them. We invested about, or let me say, we burned about 50 crores across about 12 films. I don't know what happened after that anyway. So, I mean, films is a very tricky area of investment because though we try to really apply a lot of science to it, we build a lot of interesting, good looking models which would help us to benchmark returns on films, and nothing worked, So, anyway, so that was a very different experience. So, that was in 2010, and I think I was still hungry for more.
So out of these four companies,
Yes.
which do you enjoy the most?
I think each one of them, because each one of them had a very different experience, a very different appeal. As I said, so Apollo Tiles was a very B2C company, and there I learned how to handle your dealers, how to handle a marketing of a tire product, right from your truck tires to understanding how a truck community buys the tires to understanding how a PCR tire is sold, So that was a very different perspective of marketing, and funding obviously was a very different perspective because that's how when I started interacting with a lot of private bankers and understood that how funds are raised. I was myself talking to a lot of potential investors, so I needed to explain to them that why they should invest in a real estate fund. So I remember a time when I used to do almost 35 calls in a day, and by the end of the day my throat was totally gone. But that was part of the job. And then this film fund happened, and it was all craziness. So we had talk. I mean, unfortunately, it was not the glamorous part because I was not the one who was handling actors and actresses. Though I really wish I could, but that was not happening. I was unfortunately only dealing with old directors and old producers, who were looking for money. So anyway, so that happened, and again, that's where I learned a lot about how do you set deals with them, how do you negotiate, how much you want to invest, what kind of returns are we expecting. We worked on very interesting models to understand that how can you actually predict whether a film will return you money or not return you money, which I said never worked, but anyway, we did made a digital model, a mathematical model around that. So that was an interesting experiment. And then I said in 2010, I was just trying to understand that now what, So that's where the whole idea of crowdfunding hit me. So crowdfunding at that point in time was coming up globally as a new emerging medium for funding new ideas, and that is what really excited me. The whole thought was very simple that so in 2010, 2009, I was already getting sucked into this whole startup ecosystem. I was talking at few forums, I was meeting with few entrepreneurs, so what I realized at that point in time that while in countries like US and Silicon Valley, there are people, there are almost million plus people who are investing into new ideas. India is far behind, so India at that point 2010, I think hardly there would be about 50-60 select venture capital funds or select people who were putting that money into a new idea, so I thought that if this has to really grow, there has to be a lot more people in the whole ecosystem, and that's where I thought that crowdfunding could be one way where we can bring a lot more people into the whole ecosystem to support entrepreneurs, so that was the whole vision, that was the whole madness behind it. And with that perspective, I left that pushy job of working in a venture capital fund, and I launched India's first crowdfunding platform. And what we did was we partnered with a European company and brought them to India because again, the logic was simple that नया concept है, इंडिया में जब तक उनको गोरे लोग नहीं दिखेंगे वो बिकेगा नहीं, तो गोरे लोगों को लाने के लिए I tied up with a European company, brought those two goras India, and made them talk to all the media so that media start writing about them and we get the publicity out of it. So did that, but then again I think 2010-11 was not the right time for startups, and while we got very good response from angel investors, we were not getting the response from normal people because I believe startup as an asset class is still something which a lot of us do not even know about, that how do I pick up the right startup to invest in, so I think we took our lessons and I took a back seat. It was not working as I had expected. So for next 2 years, I worked with a gentleman called Pradeep Gupta, who's the founding editor for Cyber Media group of publications. So at that one time, Pradeep was trying to mentor few startups, and he was also trying to set up a startup accelerator in Gurgaon. So he brought me on board, and I was consulting with him on those contexts. But then I think वो जैसे होता है ना कि एंटरप्रेन्योर के अंदर एक कीड़ा घुस जाता है, तो वो कीड़ा घुस चुका था क्राउड फंडिंग का, तो आई couldn't stay far from behind it. So again in 2013 I told Pradeep कि सर मुझे वापस आना है, I can't continue on this. So that's how I think I started with Catapult. So yeah, that has been the journey so far.
Why the name Catapult?
Why the name Catapult? Okay, it's an interesting story. So Catapult incidentally was not the first name, so the first name that we had thought was Cinebuter, because we were looking at that how crowdfunding can actually help film funding, right? And we thought that because we want to look at film funding and we want to look at people contribute money to making of films, so we thought Cinebuter could be a good name, right? But then as it so happened, we met some advertising gentlemen who told us कि यार ये नाम नहीं चलने वाला, ये किसी को समझ नहीं आएगा, आप नाम बदलो. अब हम फिर लुक गए कि अच्छा ये नाम नहीं चलेगा तो फिर क्या करें. And I was anyway very वो होता है ना कि वो दूध का जला छाछ को भी फूक के पीता है. So I was anyway had failed once, so I want to be very clear this time that everything has to be perfect, So then I thought okay, let's look at other names. So then we suddenly hit upon this idea of Catapult, which basically means that what we thought that okay, let's say that Catapult will since it is pulling people, and Catapult is basically meaning that we are basically helping people to throw back or pull back to a different level. So we thought this name will make good sense. There's a very interesting story behind that also. So what happened when we started to look out for domain name, Catapult, which is CATAPOOLT.com, was already taken by someone else. So we thought अब क्या करें, ये नाम तो already देखा हुआ है. So we thought okay, let's do one thing, let's put 3 O's instead of 2 O's. So then my co-founder at that time, he asked me that, but how will you explain people that why will you put 3 O's? So then I thought okay, let's make an interesting story. We will always, whenever people will ask us why 3 O's, so we will tell them that since 2 is about company and 3 is about crowd, so we will always say that Catapult is about crowdfunding.
Very good. Very good.
So that's how the whole story came up, and I think things just fell in the place, and that's how the name got its origin.
Very fantastic. So tell us something about your trials and tribulations which you had.
There have been a lot of them, I think. I think from an entrepreneur's perspective, I think every day is a roller coaster ride. And I think every day you go through those trials and tribulations. That is something which I'm going even through now, right now. You know. But then it's been fun. It's been challenging. You know. So I remember a very interesting incident which I would like to talk about here. So this was again 2013, right? And I had formed Catapult. And I had my co-founder, a guy from film industry. So we thought that maybe because I will be able to use that network which I had used at a film fund. So we were in market to do our fundraising, right? तो उस पर काफ़ी धक्के लगाए हमने, काफ़ी लोगों को पूछा. Again, most of the people still didn't know what crowdfunding is, but finally we found 5-6 investors who finally believed us as a team and said, okay, we will put money on you as a team, right? And then suddenly one fine day, my co-founder decides that no, I do not want to work here. I want permanent money. I want to get married in life now. So I will quit you. I said, oh my God. So now after 3 months, we have got funders on board, and now you're saying that you want to quit. You know, so which means that I'm again left alone with just me myself. You know, so that was one. I mean, I think a big jolt for me at that point in time. But somehow I again took on road for next 2 months. Convince investors that I am the guy and I will still not run away, you know. So, I mean, touch wood, you know, those investors were kind enough to kind of trust on me and we got our first funding. But yeah, there have been a lot of interesting kind of, you know, experiments on the way.
So you've gotten a lot of PR and branding and you're like the poster boy of crowdfunding. How did this happen?
I think it happened because, as I said, you know, since one, it happened because I was the first one to bring the whole concept of online crowdfunding to India when I launched with a European company in 2010. You know, so and again, as I said that thankfully I had used those Goras. So the message was already clear. You know that people was so that link up suddenly came that okay, he's the guy who has been pushing crowdfunding in India. And again in 2010 when I was launching the whole concept of crowdfunding, I was very actively networking with a lot of investors, a lot of angel network investors, and again the whole startup movement at that time was just coming up, you know. So I think that helped because people could recognize me that हाँ ये बंदा है जो crowdfunding के लिए आएगा और मुझसे बातें करेगा, you know. So that really helped, and I think then it just it's just about pushing yourself. It's just about kind of looking at ways on how you can create new opportunities, create new markets around crowdfunding. That has helped me to be in media space. So yeah, I think that's how the answer is.
There's no page 3 kind of paid news or something.
No.
Okay. I thought I'll get something juicy out.
No.
Okay, so you use a lot of social media. Which is the platform you prefer?
I think
for personal and for Catapult.
So I think personal obviously is Facebook, right? And professional obviously is LinkedIn because I believe I've got a lot of good connects on LinkedIn. I met a lot of my mentors on LinkedIn. I've met a lot of my investors on LinkedIn. So that has helped me. And then Facebook obviously is what I use for my person as a personal image. So I put both my personal things and my professional things on Facebook. One platform which I've recently fell in love with is Instagram. You know, which is I think I'm really got hooked onto it now. It's got some good, nice photographs of all kinds. So, and I think that's an interesting platform again. Interestingly, I just thought that it was just a photography platform, but I think I've realized that that itself is also becoming a good networking platform now. And one more interesting platform, which most of the people will not believe, is Tinder. I think you should use Tinder. Tinder is not just a dating platform. Actually, I've got some good, interesting professional connects using Tinder. Yeah, so I think you should look at it for sure. So it takes time. It takes time to build. I mean, I'm sure if you are a girl, you will like get 1,000 likes in one single day. But if you're a boy, you will have to really have a lot of patience to keep liking people. But it helps.
Okay, so all we married guys are going to take permission from our wives to get onto Tinder over there.
Yes.
Okay. So Tinder, Instagram.
Yeah.
So Instagram, you managed to get your Catapult ka?
No, वो नहीं मिला. I mean, I've got, but we have not been very active on that. Okay. So it's been so far it's been my personal
thing.
Account which has been active.
So now we go to Quick Gun Sam. One witty answer. Unicorns.
They're still flying.
So everybody knows what's a unicorn, na? Yeah, okay. Not those unicorn with the horn, huh? Okay. Priyanka Chopra.
Talent.
Okay. Narendra Modi.
Karam Yogi.
Make in India.
Will work.
So how does a startup deal with failure? So recently somebody invited me to, you'll have to censor fuck up nights. So where the startups they have failed. So these guys talk about their failure. Now talking about failure has become very glamorous nowadays.
Sure.
So how does a startup deal with failure?
One very important thing that I have learned while I've spoken to people is that as a startup entrepreneur, you should always try to dissociate yourself from your company, right? So your ideas may fail, your company may fail, but that doesn't mean that you have failed, right? So I think as long as we can maintain that differentiation within ourselves, a failure will not affect us to that extent, because we know that I still can do a lot more stuff. I had the skill to bring that startup from 0 stage to A stage, no matter if it failed. So I think we should not be too harsh on ourselves for a failure, because a startup may have failed for whatever reasons. You may have not got the right team, the timing could have been bad, the funders could have not supported you at that point in time, but that doesn't mean that you as a person have failed. So I think if we can maintain that differentiation, we can move on.
Okay.
And that is what helps, and I think today, if you look at any successful entrepreneurial journey, this guy would have had a lot of failures behind him, and then only would have tasted success. Indeed, I was reading up Alok Kejriwal's, I think all of you know what Alok Kejriwal is, the founder of this platform called Games to Win, and he's one of the well-revered mentor. So he had put up in his Facebook today, I think yesterday, that keep fighting with destiny for 10 years, then she will give in. I think that's a very impactful line. What he's trying to say is that keep fighting, keep persevering for 10 years, no matter what you go through. But after 10 years, success will come, no matter what.
Okay, so you require a lot of funding for that actually. Okay, so do you suggest using FFF first, that's family, friends, fools, and then funding? And second question is, how much stake should you part with when you're getting a funding?
Yes, I think family, friends, fools obviously help you, because they are the first people who can even trust you blindly, right? And indeed, even for Catapult, it was my friends who gave the first check to me before I went on to other professional investors. Coming on to how much you part with, see, it's a very tricky question, because ultimately it all depends on what is your relationship with those friends, family, and fools, all your investors, right? But today, I think that's what we have certain benchmarks. So you know that when you're taking your first funding, the approximate equity that which you normally should give is anywhere between 5 to 15%. Depending on how much funding are you raising. So we have, I think today investors and most of the people have kind of arrived at those benchmarks. So that's a common understanding that has come in the industry. So I think that's a fair number to look out at diluting when you're taking your first stage of funding.
So the 5 and 15% is related to the amount of.
It is obviously related to the amount,
Valuation.
So yeah, so if I look at it that way, I think today the average valuation of a good idea, which is looking out to raise the first amount of fundraising, is approximately between 1.75 to 2.5 crores. So that's the overall valuation. Now, depending on how much amount are you raising, your dilution will depend on that.
Okay. So a couple of advice for our grown-ups. Like we have only one small fellow over here. A couple of other small fellows are there, and some advice, because all of us already been there, done that.
Sure.
That risk-taking appetite has disappeared. Nahi yaar boss, it's okay. I'd rather not take that business. 20 years back, you would have taken that risk over there.
Sure.
Because maybe we have a family, we have stability.
Sure.
We're looking at that thing over there.
So. I think I'm sorry if I'm not too old yet, but just few things which I would like to add here is that, see, I think end of the day, all of us have just one life to live, right? And you should do whatever you want to do in that one life, no matter how much risk that involves. Because I think what I've learned from whatever I've read, when people are on their deathbed, I think what they really repent is not what they've done. What they really repent is what they've not done. So always keep that thing in your mind, and you have one life. So, and I think it's good that if you want to really try new things at a senior age, because now you have stability, your family is able to support themselves, So now you can go back and take that risk. I mean, indeed, it's much easier for you than for a younger generation, because you have that experience, you have that network with you, you can raise money on the basis of your grey hair, so that really helps.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks.
Good, no? Okay, so you think the startup bubble, I asked this question to Bharat Banka also.
Sure.
Recently had come. Ajit Khuran also was on my show.
Sure.
You think that the startup bubble is contracting, expanding, bursted, already bursted?
I think it's already busted,
Okay.
but it's a good thing. I think it's a correction which was required, right? Because what was happening was that there was too much money which was just suddenly coming in, and a lot of companies were going through a phase of premature growth, right? They were not growing at the base level; they were just expanding on a top line. So obviously, they would topple over. If not now, maybe some years down the line. So yes, the funding market has condensed. It has become more difficult to raise funding, especially at the second and third stage. But having said that, I think what is happening is at the supply side, today a lot more people are willing to give money to new ideas. So the risk appetite amongst a lot of people have increased. So they are looking out for people who are passionate. So I think if you are committed and if you still continue to walk the path, funding will come. So that's what I say.
So now with this new FDI, 100% FDI coming in, you think it's going to hit Amazon and Flipkart, because their main thing is that
Inventory.
40% is that inventory, and now
Right.
they want to make a marketplace.
Right.
So what do you think is going to happen with the valuation?
I think we have to wait and watch, because I'm sure those guys must be kind of huddling up the right strategies at this point in time. But and they will obviously try to shift the model more on lines of marketplace, then less on lines of inventory because of these new regulations now. But I think it's a transition phase, and I'm sure that they will come out with the right solution to it.
Okay. So your biggest, I think, success which I've been seeing is the X-Men thing which you did, which we had over there. So you had all these entrepreneurs, all these angel investors. So tell us something about that. It was like really media splashing which happened over there. Tell us something. How did you manage to get all these guys together?
So I think I think it just happened because so we already had Touchwood. We had the partnership of Economic Times with us. So that was one selling card that I had with me when I approached these guys, and then I picked up these guys, saying that that this is what we want to do, and we really want to do a kind of a crowdfunding powered idea hunt for next disruptive ideas. So will you be keen to be part of it? And then I think one or two of them agreed. Like Ajit agreed, and Devesh Chawla agreed, and then Jaspreet was someone who I was already talking with from Mahindra and Mahindra. So he agreed to come on board. So I think as and when these guys came on board, I started reaching out to other guys, and that's how we were able to kind of do this thing of bringing those 11 guys all together. So that helped.
So it was a big success.
Yes.
So it's been great jamming with you over
Sure.
here, and all the best for the future.
Sure.
And thank you so much for
Thank you, sir.